All right. Well, first of all, we want to say happy birthday to our guest, Langhorne Slim.
Oh,
Thank you
thank you.
so much for being here, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to talk with Langhorne Slim here in just a moment. He and his band, The Law, are going to be at Headliners tonight and Clear Plastic Masks Open. The new album is called The Spirit Moves. And I just want to say right off the bat, too, this is a great album. I love it.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on a wonderful album that came out August 7th, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so still really brand new, even
Br-
though you've lived with it for a while.
They never feel brand new when they finally come out.
Yeah, I always
But
wondered about that.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, you said that of all the albums that you've done are special, but this one particularly so, and I was hoping maybe you could speak to that as to why.
Well, they all feel particularly so when you're writing them and when you're making them, of course. But this one, I've just gone through transitions in my life that it was particularly important for me to prove to myself that I could be real with myself, that I still had the music without. I mean, particularly 2 years ago today, I got sober. I never made a record that way, never wrote a collection of songs that way. And so it was, I wanted to see just how peculiar the process would be and what would happen. And so I'm very happy to say we did it.
Yeah,
I
you
think the
did.
record came out great.
Yeah, the results, I mean, are excellent. But the process, what was it like being sober for the first time and creating an album?
Beautiful and terrifying,
Yeah.
like most of life, but this particular phase of it certainly. But I had more strength, and I felt empowered because as soon 2 years ago to this day that I did decide to stop a lot of things that I was doing for about 15 years. I I immediately stepped into a position of strength because of the folks that I have around me in my band. The fact that I felt like I could sing better for longer, that I could dance. I had an extra move. So it was real freaky when I stopped because I felt a lot of dark energy around me that was sort of pulling me to stay in a certain way. And when I had a bit of a breakthrough and saw the light from that, I was in a groovier place. But I do want to say the record is not particularly a record promoting sobriety, but it is just a record promoting my own truths and my own the fire that has burned in my soul since I'm a little kid to play music that I had been urinating on a little bit for a long time, and I decided I would stop pissing on my flame to see what would happen. And so these are a collection of those songs, but there's a lot of things going on in anybody's life, of course. But there's the sobriety, and then everything else that was going on.
2 years ago on this day, as you said, is when you decided to become sober.
Yeah.
What was happening on this day 2 years ago? What
We were
what
playing
what what was like the final moment, the last straw for you?
Oh well, the seed that is planted happens long before, like with any big action, I think, in life. It was a long time coming. It was coming since the first time I got drunk on a six-pack of Yingling in Becky Horowitz, my high school sweetheart's parents' basement in Philadelphia. I knew someday I was going to have to stop, even though I'd just gotten started. I was like, someday I'll probably have to stop this, but I'm just getting started, so I'll see about it. But 2 years ago to this day, we were playing a benefit show someplace for an Alzheimer's thing, which was cool to be doing, but very strange to be doing, and particularly in that form. You know, you feel pretty weird physically, mentally, spiritually, when you give all this stuff up for a lot of different reasons. But I was going through some freakouts. I was pretty quiet, pretty introspective that day, and I just wanted to see. I didn't tell anybody that that's what I was doing, but here we are. So I'm glad I stuck with it
Yeah. And your life has changed because of it.
dramatically.
Yeah.
The energy that changed in my life, it's hard to put into words, sort of unsayable stuff, but it opened up. I was just talking to somebody about it earlier today, and maybe I hadn't thought of it this way, but maybe there's all these sort of like spiritual and energetic and kind of things that I think about, but perhaps what it is that we're born our whole selves, maybe. And through life, we fall apart in a lot of ways. And maybe through doing some things to get back to yourself, that's what's happening. So the energy that surrounds that is pretty incredible. And it's just been, it's opened up a lot of beautiful things. I felt like a lot of my love for life, for music, for my friends, romantically, was still there because I'm a passionate man, but it was blocked in ways. And so stepping out of, from out under that cloud has helped improve it. Still got a long way to go, my friend, but it was a darn positive step for me.
Do you remember the first gig you had as a sober person?
Yeah, I think it was Newport Folk Festival last year. Wow. Because before, yeah, I don't mess around. I'm gonna go in as dramatically sober as I was dramatically effed up.
Right, be in front of thousands of people on that very first time.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
and that's the way I wanted to do it with this record. I mean, thousands of people, or just if you feel good in your pants, it doesn't matter if it's in front of one person or 1,000 people. So when you're struggling, that it's very difficult to be in front of anybody because it's hard to be with yourself. But my experiment before August 20th 2 years ago was to play these like summer festivals sober for the first time. I didn't tell anybody, and just to see how it felt. And it was weird, but it felt great. And the band was like, "Man, that was a great show." They were like, "Man, what are you not?" You know, they didn't know what was going on, but I got a lot of positive reinforcement from the people that I love and respect the most.
Wait a minute, the band didn't know you were sober?
Not at first, because
wow.
I didn't know that I was going to stick with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't as dramatic as like, today is the day that I'm going to do it, and I'm leading it. It was just like, I mean, toward the end, I was driving myself to the liquor store, being like, I don't want to do this. But I was still, the key was in the thing, and I was still going. It's like, that's not for me. I don't want to be, I don't know if you could say bitch here, but I don't want to be a bitch to something that I have control, that I have the control and the strength to not be. Mm-hmm. So yeah, to get out in front of a thousand or thousands of people and to do the thing that makes me feel the most joyful, and to do it well, and to feel the love from my brothers that I play with, that's a great first step to be like, man, I can do this.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge first step, I would think. We're talking with Langhorne Slim, and he and his band, The Law, are going to be at Headliners tonight. Clear Plastic Masks open. The new album's called The Spirit Moves, and we'll talk more about the record, but maybe we go ahead and have you play a song. I think the first song you were going to do is called Wolves, which is a kind of a quieter side of you. I mean, you're known for doing sort of like that, almost like tent revival kind of stuff, and then
this is an intimate side of the tent revival.
Yeah, exactly. So, can you give us just a background on this song, Wolves?
Yeah, a friend of mine had sent me a book of poetry by this guy James Kavanaugh, and that book is called "There Are Men Too Gentle to Live Amongst Wolves," and he writes the foreword of the book. And I would just recommend to who is ever listening, if they want, to check it out. It moved me deeply. It made me feel, I always feel like the best songs and the best poems and the best art aren't necessarily these like heady, far out things that I have to, break my brain, but there are these truths that are in our bones. And that when I hear a song that moves me the most deep, it's like validating some human animal truth that I've known, or we've known for like thousands of years or something like that. And that's what this book of poetry did. And anyway, here's the song, and it is called Wolves.
Wolves from Langhorne Slim live on WFPK Radio Louisville. He and his band, The Law, playing tonight at Headliners, and the new album's called The Spirit Moves. That song appears on that album. Yeah, and so The Spirit Moves, being the name of the album, your last one, which came out in 2012, was The Way We Move. Mm-hmm. You have the word move in both. I'm just curious as to...
Why?
Yeah.
Unintentional.
Really? Yeah.
I was sort of like, darn. When I figured out that this one should be called The Spirit Moves, like, But, no, it works fine. It's the, it's the right title for this collection of songs. So when that occurred, I said to the band, I think this is what we should do. They said, yes, I think this is what we should do too. And there we have a title.
Right. Now you're living in Nashville these days.
Yeah.
Originally you're from Langhorne, Pennsylvania.
Correct.
Is that near Philadelphia? Or
Yeah,
is
it's a suburb of Philly.
Okay.
About 20, 25 minutes outside of Philadelphia.
And how long have you been in Nashville now?
I've been in Nashville about 3.5 years. And I did a lot of moving around in between.
Yeah, whenever I ask a musician about where their home is, it's usually it's not always not matters a whole lot because they're always on the road.
True.
Anyway, but
It's never mattered as much as it does now that home is Nashville, though I'm rarely there. I feel very connected to the place, as a lot of people do. And it's been a beautiful place to call home when I'm off the road.
what do you do when you're off the road at home? What do you...
Sit in a corner and shake and sweat and cry. But when I'm not doing that,
Right.
I hang out with friends and go out to restaurants. I don't really know what I do. I see my friends.
Yeah.
I go and see a lot of music. Though I have stopped drinking the booze, I drink a lot of club soda
Right.
and go and see music at bars and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been such a great place. I've always been somebody that has had a hard time sitting still, feeling at home in any one place.
Right.
And there's a beautiful thing in Nashville, beautiful energy, beautiful people that have. I still do get restless
Yeah.
when I'm there for too long, but it's been a great place to call home. Bought a house and everything.
So do you have a car these days?
Oh my gosh.
I had read something about you had your car was stolen?
Yeah, that's true.
Which
I
is
did
terrible.
It is terrible. It's not nice, but I did leave the keys in it, and so there's that.
Oh.
But that car's been long. That was a beautiful 1977 Mercury Comet, which got stolen. Got it back through crazy circumstances.
You did? You got it back?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
My friend, the great and mighty photographer Cracker Farm, who I bought the car with, because he looks very manly and a little scary, though incredibly handsome, much like a younger David Beckham. And anyway, he came with me to buy the car because I wanted him to look under the hood or act like he knew what was going on so that the guys would, give us a decent deal or whatever.
Right.
And so the car got stolen, and I was in Canada with the band playing some festivals. And I had put out on social media that my car was stolen in the part of Nashville in which it was, and if anybody had saw it around, to let me know, get that thing back. And so there was like all this crazy stuff. People were seeing it and then losing it, and then people would see like a red Mustang and think that was it, and it wasn't. It was a damn Mercury Comet. And Cracker Farm wound up getting in his van, and driving around the neighborhood, and he spots the car. And he flips his van around, and he chases the kids down in the car. They wound up running out of fuel, bailing. He calls the cops, and I get the car back. And a month later, I'm driving down the street, and it was totaled. Nobody, thankfully, got hurt.
Oh, gosh.
But the end of the Comet came then.
Oh.
So I had talked to my mother and a couple of friends, and they said, maybe it's time for you to buy a Prius, or at least to lease something along those lines. And I thought about it. And then I was reminded of this beautiful 1967 black Ford Fairlane that I had seen on a farm in Virginia. And I thought, well, I do like Toyota Priuses. I really do. I got to drive one around when I was in California and enjoyed that vehicle, and I would love to drive one again. But I said, well, I have, I think it was $6,000, something like that. Let me at least see how much this 1967 beautiful black Ford Fairlane is. And so the prices matched up. The car was shipped to Nashville. I was driving it to Franklin to pick up the tags, whereupon the engine blew up.
Oh, no.
And there I was on the side of the road, and my dear friend and manager, Holly Lohman, happened to be in Nashville at the time. And I think she would have supported a Toyota Prius more than the Ford Fairlane. And she picked me up, and we sat in silence, and I said, okay, go ahead, say it. She said, well, maybe this wasn't the best decision. That was about 2 months ago. The car has been at the shop all this time. I got off the phone with John yesterday. He said Friday, when the band gets back home, the 1967 black Ford Fairlane will be ready to go.
All right.
So I'm carless now, but in tomorrow, I think, I shall drive that sweet
All
car.
right. Well, I hope so. Yeah, that'd be a nice birthday present for yourself, I would think. All right. So 2 nights in Nashville, you guys are playing.
Yeah, we end the
Right?
tour there, and
Yeah.
so tonight we've got here obviously, and then tomorrow night and Saturday night at the Mercy Lounge in Nashville. So it'd be nice to end the tour
In your hometown?
in
No?
in my hometown. Yeah.
Right. Well, we're talking with Langhorne Slim, and again, he's playing tonight at Headliners. The Spirit Moves is a new album, and he's going to do one more song for us, and this one is called Airplane.
It is indeed, and it goes like this.